with Not So Perfect Parenting. I am here for another live, and I apologize, guys. I have to do this live in my car because I am out and about and still out and about, and it's late. So, well, it's not actually late. It's 7:23, but y'all know how dark it get. And I'm in Ohio, so there it is. All right, so I am going to talk about parent horror stories because now, since I'm pressing on all these stories and trying to get y'all some information and trying to help us as parents, not just y'all, encouraging one another, encouraging myself as I encourage y'all, all these funny stories and not so good stories and parenting stories and just all kinds of stories are hitting my timelines. So I ended up watching a video. His name is, I think his name was Mr. Nightmare, and he tells parent horror stories. So I decided to listen to one because I'm going to tell you guys about it, and it's so funny that this story, it actually correlates to what I was talking about yesterday. So we're going to get into it. I need some more people to come on in. Let's talk about this because I want to talk to the parents and I want to encourage everybody that in parenting, we have to take accountability. In parenting, we can't always blame everybody else. A lot of this stuff is our fault. And I remember I was teaching a class and I was telling people that once you start thinking about things that catastrophic things that's happened in people's lives, where it be and certain, I'm not blaming anybody, but if we think back to certain things that happened in our lives, it's because someone who was watching us or who was over us kind of dropped the ball. Now, I'm not saying that if somebody got essayed or something like that, it was a parent's fault, but I know in certain situations that I hear about, when kids talk about it, or even in my own situation, you'll say, okay, well, where were the parents? The parents left them alone with the predator, or they let them spend the night over. And of course, we cannot blame anyone, and we cannot say that we knew what another person was going to do. But my thing is, a lot of times, and I'm not saying I'm a perfect parent at all, because things have happened or I've been neglectful. I would say, like, oh, I wasn't the type of parent that let my kids just go anywhere. But because sometimes you may let your kids go places, hey, how are you doing? Things could possibly happen, even if you are trying to do your due diligence. So it's great to talk about these things, because as parents, sometimes when you think about it, if you hadn't have let your kids stay with such and such, then something wouldn't have happened. You have to vet people when they're keeping your kids. So we talked about yesterday that series, which is correlating into what I want to talk about today. So there was a parent that went up to her kid, was very quiet, but she said he always was like this awkward kid that always seemed to meet these friends that were weird. Okay, like they were probably the kids who nobody really wanted to talk to, but they were weird in their own way, in their own right. So this one kid, they ended up meet she he ended up meeting at school, ended up talking to himself, and I'm gonna tell you at the end what happened, and it was crazy. But I blame the mom for some of this stuff. But anyway, so the kid ended the two kids had a confrontation supposedly, and the mom got called up to the school, and it was alleged that her son took out an eraser, and her son is a very quiet, keep to himself kind of kid, don't get into much trouble. And allegedly he took out an eraser in his pocket and hit this new kid in the head, and like this kid was fell all down on the floor and was acting like he was hurt. An eraser, y'all. An eraser. Okay. So when they got home, or when they were riding home, her son was extremely quiet. He wasn't really saying anything, and she was kind of mad, like, what's going on? Like, you don't even act like this. And when he got home, he just bust out crying, and basically told what happened. Like, my mom, hey, how are you? Thank you for joining. He's like, Mom, the kid made me do this. He said that I had to pretend that something was going on. He told his mom, and so the mom got mad and found his mom's number and went ahead and called her. And she was like, oh yeah, my son told me, we're gonna call him Joey. My son Joey told me what was going on, and I've already reprimanded him and punished him because he tends to make up these things. And so I've already, punished him. But I think it would be great if you guys come over and your son, which her son's name, so we'll call him George. George comes over with my son Joey, and they have a play date and let him spend the night. The mom of George thought this was a great idea. She thought this was a great idea. So as they're sitting having this play date, and George is going to spend a night with Joey after they're done, after the moms get finished talking, the mom is spilling the beans about somewhat how troubled this little boy is. He's had behavior issues. He has things going on. And I'm not saying that it's not right to befriend kids who have behavior issues and all that. But sometimes as parents, we have to sit back. We be wanting to break so bad. We want to send our kids places, and you can't send your kids places everywhere. You just can't. I think the play date was enough. I personally probably would have been like, yeah, I don't think my kids and your kid could be friends right now because my kid is traumatized about what you did. But we'll pursue that and maybe go to the park where I can see them. These little boys were down in the basement together as the moms were upstairs talking. The mom had of Joey already revealed that this boy had problems and issues. He had some mental concerns going on, and the mom was just like, oh, okay, I'm going to still let my son spend the night. Well, the mom lets the son spend the night at the house, and the next morning the boy, her son George, is at the door waiting, but all smiles, like everything is cool. She gets him home, and or in the car, and he just cries profusely, and he's like, mom, last night was crazy. We were in the basement, and Joey, I woke up and I seen this flickering light in the bathroom. And they were sleeping downstairs together, like next to each other on probably blow up beds or something like that. And Joey's in the bathroom with this flickering candle talking to himself in the mirror. But not just a regular conversation like, oh, you look cute, you good, you handsome, I know I'm fly, nothing like that. He's having a full-fledged like conversation about some craziness. And so he sounds like a different person. He kind of looking like a different person. So George hurry up and close his eyes and act like he's asleep. So then Joey comes out, and as Joey comes out, the candle light turns off, or the candle flicker, the flame like turns off by itself. Crazy. And these are little boys. Like, I would have freaked out. I probably would have, it would have been a whole different story if I was little and at Joey's house, because I don't play that kind of stuff. But anyway, the boy tells his mom, and then the mom calls Joey's mom, and then she starts unleashing stuff like, yeah, Joey has been diagnosed. Please subscribe. That'd be great. Thank you all. If you subscribe and like, please, and share. um she Joey's mom starts unleashing all their business, like, yeah, Joey has been diagnosed with uh personality disorders. I forgot what that's called. Double personality or multiple personality disorder, and he's been going through this and going through that, and just some shocking things that her Joey or George should not have been at their house alone with this little boy, not even. And so all these things that she told George mom was like, well, shoot, I think I should tell the school. I have a right to tell the school. So she ended up telling the school about it. But no, she was debating on if she should tell the school about it. But in that, as she's debating and waiting on telling the school, Joey assaults another kid. Like, yeah, he did something to another kid as she's debating on if she should tell on him or not. And so he ends up getting expelled. You got to do some crazy stuff to be a little bitty kid and get expelled. Like, what? So Joey gets expelled, and then the mom of George wanted to call Joey's mom, but they vanished. Like, the number was disconnected, and she had already said that she was tired of having to move, because this little boy's behavioral problems are so big that any community they've been in, they've had to move because of him. So I guess Joey's mom was already prepared to get up and leave, and they vanished. Her number didn't work. They were no longer at their address when George mom tried to contact them. Like, it was crazy, y'all. So I'm saying this to say this. I'm not just telling parent horror stories for nothing. I'm saying it because we as parents need to take responsibility. This mom tried to say that, why would she let me have my son over? No, why would you let your son be over someone's house that you barely even knew? And then she already basically gave you a rundown, sort of, about this little boy's behavior. He already had a conflict and confrontation with the mom or the boy. Why would you let your kid go over there? And that's what we as parents have to take responsibility of. We are the ones that are over our children to protect them. We have to do our due diligence when they go over someone's houses. We are responsible. It's not another parent's responsibility to tell you about their kid. You have to vet these people. And if you're not comfortable letting your kid go over a sleepover or to someone's house, and even if it's family, then don't let them go, because you are the parent and you are there for protection. That's why I wanted to tell this story. I sympathize with the mom, and she didn't know the little boy had mental issues and all of that, but it was her job, when she heard what was going on with this kid, to say yes or no, my kid should not go. So we're going to talk a little bit more about these stories, and I'm going to give you guys advice. But parents, we have to be accountable. That's just period, point blank, the end. Not everything is our fault that happens, but some of this stuff is because we just didn't vet people, or we're just like, I need a break and I'm just going to send my kid over to somebody else's house. So, all right, I'll be back on here tomorrow with another live and another parenting story, or some advice or some encouragement, because sometimes I need encouragement. I'm Regina Long with Not So Perfect Parenting.